yes. How's that fade? Oh, it's the fade was amazing. That's engineering works all the way from Australia. Hello to all your face holes in YouTube land. Welcome Monday/Tuesday. I know Steve and both Chris were waiting for me to say Monday/Tuesday because they're just looking at the screen like, is he going to say it? Is he going to say it or not? Yep. Welcome, Mr. Vandale, Detective or Defective Vandale, all the way in from Las Vegas. He's covering for somebody else, but also Legion Vapes, Northern New South Wales, fellow Australian. How the hell are you fellas?
Not too bad. It's been a quiet week so far, but yeah, looking forward to getting stuck in, getting through the show, stuck in my arms into the work, and yeah, I don't know what to say. It's good. It's good.
He's rolling them sleeves up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you couldn't tell, I am now a mall cop with this fucking mustache and haircut. So you guys better stop running in the food court, or else you'll be 86th. I'm gonna call your parents. You hear me? Anyway.
I think the combination mustache glasses really they work together. They really give you that sort of mid-level management. I could see you in charge of a coffee shop.
Yeah.
Oh no, did I say coffee? Coffee shop. Kinko's.
Yeah, I definitely look like a Kinko's mid-level guy that's here to make your schedule. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you only work on evenings and weekends.
I was going to say,
life no one knows nothing about.
Yeah, this actor was only in episodes 28 to 31 in CSI. Yeah, it was a very short stint, a little bit of carryover.
I look like a guy that looks like he's always drinking coffee, but it's actually just hot water with creamer.
There's quite a few people in chat. Wow. Hi, everyone. Should we do a little bit of a run through? Should we do that? Just because we don't do that very often.
Yeah, why not do that?
Yeah.
Might as well give them the little bit of attention we got.
Yeah, that's peace, love, and mung beans to Erwin, Robert, Chris Vandale. Who else is here? We also got Big Rick in the house, fellow Australian. Did I say Rick? Robert? I did say Robert Young. Robert Young is here 3 or 4 times. Dan J. Hey to you, back at you. Geekers Maximus. Just lots of the same names. Mowgli is always here. Thank you, Mr. Mowgli. The Power Wrench.
Mowgli is always everywhere.
Mowgli's everywhere.
Constantly, simultaneously sometimes.
I finally figured it out. Mowgli's the antithesis to fucking Addy. Addy is always out spreading good information on every stream, and Mowgli's on every stream calling you a mean name.
Yeah, that would be 100% accurate.
Yes.
Red Vapes and Advocates is here. Amigos Co is here. How about that? Vicious Vapor is here. Shannon Brown. Rex Vapes. The Great Wombatsky. Rob from South Australia is here. Shannon Brown. Did I say Shannon Brown already? I did. Not the real Gerard Butler is here. What up to you, bruh? Speaking of the word bruh, my son, a 6-year-old, well, he will be 6, has been using bruh, B-R-A-H, at me quite often lately, and I don't really know how to take it. I don't want to say, hey, bruh.
I want to show you something. I want to show you something that will help you deal with that. So you see this?
Yep.
So you see that side? Whack.
No,
son. I'm not your brother.
Firm. That's firm.
Don't do that. Don't take parenting advice from me. I'm no.
I'd like you to think.
Dude, I gotta tell you something. This blew me away, and it might not seem quite as groundbreaking when it leaves my lips and my brain and it hits your ears. But I was watching some music last night, and I went through some old Rush videos, and I hit some Pink Floyd, and I hit this video, Jimi Hendrix live on this stage the size of my desk. It's a tiny little stage. It's really tall. He's in Hawaii. It was live. He's playing. There's some chick on acid dancing in the front. She can't see anything, but she's having a great time. It's daytime. Everyone's sitting down. Some people with kids and stuff. And, it's awesome little Jimi Hendrix clip. And it's dated. It's live in Maui, 1970. And I was like, wow. I was 2 when that came out. I was 2 when I could have been there. My mom was more hip. And I was just watching this, and it just kind of blew me away. It was just that momentary, holy shit, this is like this has the film grain footage of like the JFK assassinations. It's really old, right? It's like, it just made me feel like weirdly old and connected to history. And I know it's not that far back, but it's like that to I think to a lot of people just seems like a historical event. Like he came and went before we were all born, but no, actually around at that point. It's like,
same with this dude. That man right there on my wall. I keep forgetting that he had passed before I was born as well. I think it was 73, and I'm a 75er. So interesting.
Yeah. Oh, that's wild. So you were born in 75.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which I've never actually pinpointed your date. Now I'll lock that in.
Yeah.
So the same time, I actually watched a video. It was Rush live in 1974. They were playing a song off their first album. So 74, I was 6, and I actually remember 74 really clearly. I remember the ads. I remember the cartoons. I remember the serials. But most specifically, I remember going into my cousin's bedroom, and like my cousin and my sister being teens, and like, get the fuck out of here, you're an annoying little teen. Big Alice Cooper poster on the wall. They were listening to Rush. All this sort of stuff came back. So that's weird. I have memories that are older than you. I'm fucking old. That's sad now. I'm going back to my croissant.
Not at all. I think that's one thing that. Sorry, I'm going to get real serious right here for a moment. But that's one thing that I kind of like about the community, I guess, that we deal with. There's a lot of young people, but there's also quite a lot of people in this demographic. So it makes maybe is that why the community gets along more? I don't know. Is that why we love the drama? Is that why
Who loves the drama? I don't want drama.
Yeah.
Speaking of old people that have been around forever, Mowgli in the chat says, I saw Deep Purple at Cal Jam on 1974 on TV that day. So you think you're old, Steve? There's people way older. Like, have you seen Mowgli? He's sharing like tablets that like are etched by Moses of albums. Like,
yeah,
the community is like of all ages, basically, 18 and up.
I will admit, Mowgli is he's got a few more rings than me in terms of tree age.
A few more.
I don't know why I put it that way. He's got a few years on me. But yeah.
Are you referring to someone's weight? Is that what just happened? Firstly, it's child abuse.
No,
No,
wait. Age. Trees get rings.
I know. I'm just.
I would never fat shame. I would fat shame. Sorry, I would never fat shame live and publicly.
Whoa!
I have more manners than that. I wouldn't fat shame Mowgli.
Yeah, you should.
No,
please stop. Yeah, stop. Steve Legion of Northern New South Wales. Why don't you tell us what you're putting in your face hole for the buffet?
Why not? Let's change the topic. It's safer. I am vaping on. Boom. The Obelisk 60. Nice little setup. I actually had 2 of these, and I just passed one on to my wife because her little pod system, weirdly enough, it thinks it's charging all the time. It won't ever stop thinking it's charging. So we've retired it because it's not safe. But in here... Sorry?
Nothing.
Oh. In here, I got a little bit of white chocolate peppermint latte from Daily Grind. That is a beautiful setup. I got the Obelisk 100 with the Geek Vape Z Max Tank. Review coming as soon as they tell me I'm allowed to. Because I've been giving this a good go. It's really, really nice. In there, I was supposed to have this. Oh. Now I've got that. A little bit of both.
Oops.
Peach pear tea lemonade blueberry cheesecake. It's an interesting blend. It actually kind of works. Here I have peach tea lemonade in the all new Aegis Legend 2. A lot of Geek Vape on my desk right now, to the point where I actually have to do reviews this week, and I'm like, does it have to be a Geek Vape product? If I do 2 more, I just look like a big shill. And of course, last but not least, you'll know what this is. My legendary Tesla Invader, the Drop Solo 1.5, a little bit of ham and cheese croissant.
Still.
And I'll tell you, still vaping it, still dripping it, still using it. I don't even have any nicotine in here. I'll tell you that. Tell you the truth. The absolute truth of that is that I was a bit nervous I was a bit nervous, and I didn't want to juice it up because I wasn't really sure that wouldn't be a waste. I might not like it. So I didn't nick it. I just vaped it straight, 0 milligram. Still vaping it now. It's nice. I don't vape it for the nicotine. I vape it for the flavor.
That's famous last words. But I was also going to say, have you only been vapping it in that solo Addy?
Yes. Yes.
Interesting. Yeah. Interesting.
No.
As I said, I do have 100 mils of it on back order. And when it gets here, that will get nicked up. That will get thrown into some tanks and stuff just to see how it reacts with the nicotine. That may change the flavor a little bit, but I'm liking it.
Yeah,
I'm still standing by
it. Awesome. It was funny what Nick, Mr. Grim Green, was talking about. He was like out of control. What is wrong with you? And then he was like, I think I need it. I need it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, interesting.
The look on his face was just, and I think the best part is because I was when I mentioned I was using the table cam, so you couldn't see my face, and I'm watching Nick, and he's doing something else. He's got his hands in something. He's juicing something up, just listening, and he's like, I could see him stop, look off to the distance. What? Just that. Really? Yep. Croissant.
No.
Yeah.
I just want to throw out a shout out to Ozzy Shano, and I'd like to mention that I see my belt line every night, absolutely guaranteed. Take my pants off and I fold them up, and there it is, right on the bedside counter there. I see it every single night, and I get to see it in the morning too, just as I'm pulling it up. As soon as it hits the knees, it sort of disappears. But yeah, I do see it.
Damn. Vandal, what are you putting in your face hole, man?
Definitely not a fucking breakfast sandwich from McDonald's, but
Sausage egg McMuffin, that would be an awesome vape.
No.
honestly, if you guys ever have Grim on again, you should get a Grim eggs and ham or whatever. There you go. But what is it? The vape gag? What do you call it? The
Veep gag.
The Veep gape.
Veep.
And my gaping mod. I have on top of it goat and anarchist orange, and it's still fucking banging. I haven't put it down since I got it. And then in my salt nick device, my Caliburn, I got anarchist blue ras slush. And I gotta tell you, I've never ever you go without your mod or you lose your vape or you put it somewhere and you're like, okay, I'll just get it later. I can't go without my fucking salt nicks because I'm so used to this thing, especially being in the apartment. It's so much easier to take the dogs out for a walk or whatever, throw it in my mouth. I look like a Vietnam guy with a cigarette always hanging out, And I ran out of fucking salt nick juice. Usually I check before the weekends, make sure I'm covered. And I got to tell you, man, when you get used to using your salt nicks, like the other stuff, it just doesn't hit right. But that's all I got going on. That's my little share. Adam, what do you got, man?
Yeah. I've only got three today. Obviously, the Snowcap Denali. Very nice to see Bogan finally put a review up on this one, on the Denali. And my love goes out to Dan, the mod maker of these. He will probably not see the light of day for the rest of the year now. But that's got the Nightmare 25 on there. Has a little bit of She's a Dime by Smacks out of California. I also have the Abyss, so it's still so much 50-50 thoughts on this device, but it's got the ether in there. But I've been side-by-siding that. That has Banana Cream from Backed, Mr. Grimm and Miss Casey Pickle and Ownboy OC's e-liquid. Banana Cream in there, but I've been side-by-siding it against the Bridged NFG edition in the Billet box. It's very interesting, that little bridge is very hard to get, very expensive, all that sort of blah blah. But side-by-siding it against the ether has been quite interesting. $40, $45 bridge versus however much you pay if you can get one. It's very interesting. But the Billet box has the cookie from Backed in there. It's banging, and I need a liter of it. Yeah, but that's it. That's all I got. That's all I'm putting in my face hole.
So I got to ask you now that they've announced the new colors for the Abyss, are you sort of considering a trade? Are you a little regretful for having the original black?
Nah, because let's actually have a look what's on my desk. I don't really do colours much. I don't do colours at all.
Yeah.
Well, it depends, you know. But I am a highlights kind of guy because I just like the black devices. I think I don't know why, I just do, and it's the tactical situation. If they look tactical, I mean, this is going outside of my comfort zone, you know. But there is black on there. Yeah. I don't know why. I don't really dig on the colours so much. Unless it's like, you know, specific. There's been a couple, like we're going back. The last coloured thing that I actually bought was the Basium. It was in red, and I was like, oh, yeah, absolutely. Because I think I had a red OG, original recipe recoil that I was going to put on it, but I didn't get a squonk pin for it. And I was like, yeah, I'd love a red device, you know. But I just, nah.
I haven't looked at all the colors for the Abyss, but I did see the picture of the, what do they call it? NATO green.
Yeah.
It was black. It's black and green, with the larger panels being the green. And I actually really like the color they went for. It's not mint green. It's not fluorescent green. It's not too out there. It's a really nice subdued color, and with the black highlights, really, really sick.
Yeah.
I really like that.
Yeah, if they're done right, you know, like just the sake of getting an all coloured device for getting it, but when they're coupled like that, some nice highlights or something like that, absolutely.
There's not many people. I think I've talked about it before, but when it comes to colors, like so many companies, it's almost like they have a dartboard of the worst colors in the world, and that's what they pick from.
Yeah.
And then they go, if any of the three colors don't, or if they do mix well, if they're complementary, it's like, we can't have that. We need to change one of these. They can't complement each other. Dot mod used to be really, really good with that. Like if you could pick any color, any dot mod color, and mix it with the other one, it would look good no matter how far afield it was. Their color palette was like, you could tell it was done by a designer. There was some definite thought into it, at least in the early days. They've changed a bit, kind of lost that.
Yeah.
But most companies don't seem to have that. Like, and I kind of think it's it's a missed opportunity, because you could, with a dot mod with the RDAs, the caps were 2-piece. Never mind the deck, but the caps were 2-piece, and then if you got the mech mod, they were 3-piece. So if you got like a bunch of them, you could mix any bits and pieces, and it would always look good. The colors would look really complementary. You could match your outfit if you wanted, if that was your thing.
A lot of them had the same like tones though, and they had the same finish. So like when you put them together, they look good. And then like nowadays, when people try to do it with like panels and stuff like that, like I hate the graffiti and I hate the graph. Like me, this is a personal opinion. Obviously, people out there like them, but like from my perspective, I hate the graffiti looking ones. You know, where they put like some weird like design or something on it. They never last on something that's going to go in and out of your pocket all the time if it's something that you're a consistent user. And then like you said, if like, I don't know, me personally, I like plain stuff besides like, you know, I have like, you know, some colored stuff, but most of it, it's like a single tone kind of thing. So it kind of like goes, I don't ever like color coordinate my mods or any of that stuff. As you guys know, I'm a very functional vapor, but I don't like the fact that like, I don't like it when like you were like, it could be a really cool looking mod, you pull it out and it looks like the side of a freeway, you know what I mean? And like, you want to be taken seriously, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Well, there was like, Asmodeus were back in the day when they were doing the Minikin 1.5 era, they were pretty good on their colors, sort of intermixing and matching as well. Not quite as good as dot mod, but I mean, I think that it's definitely a missed opportunity that you can't mix match doors. The finish is different. The color tone doesn't match. You see companies put out like 12 devices and 18 different RDAs and tanks and stuff, and none of those colors. Like I would think that you'd be thinking, okay, so let's make the top cap match the body a little bit, and make the doors on this other device match, so that we can sort of mix and match it. It will look great, because not only do you have the after sales market if you sell them separately, but also, sometimes you get those people that will do that. I remember people did that with the recoil. They would buy 3 or 4 and they would mix and match bits and pieces just because that's what they wanted. Yeah. With black and silver or black and gunmetal, it works fine. Yeah. When you talk about colors, there needs to be some thought from the company.
Yeah. This is probably also subjective opinion. Like decks are one of those things. I'm sure black, you know, photographs really nicely, particularly for the coil artists and all that sort of thing. But I kind of don't want any anodizing or any color anywhere near the deck. I'd rather just have steel decks that were covered with, the AFC, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't mind like media blasted or sandblasted because it's not. There's nothing to come off. It's treated and it is what it is. Who is it that did that? Bandyvape did that recently. One of their decks had, and the finish was really nice. Gave it sort of a gunmetal gray-esque look without being straight stainless. But I agree with you. I don't really like finished decks. They tend to peel. After a couple of years, you're like, oh, I'm getting bits of black all over my coils.
Yeah. Even the gold can be an issue. Like that's the other thing.
I just don't like gold at all.
Yeah. Completely subjective. I was going to say a funny, well, not a funny, just another situation now when we were back in NZ for the expo. Feels like 4 years ago now, but was talking to Inikin George, one of the main peeps at Inikin, and they had a pre-release copy of the what was that mod called? The Proton. They had the Proton, the LiPo version, the Mini, Proton Mini. And, he had some beautiful colors. There was a Tiffany colored and just a straight up black, and there was gunmetal and maybe some other, bright color. And then sitting at the back of the cabinet was this Proton Mini that had like a zombie head, bright fluorescent green and like zombie head thing on it. And I was like, what's that? And he's like, it's for, a certain market in the world that they go crazy for them. And he's like, I can't bring them to Australia or to the US, I was like, I hear what you're saying, but interesting that they have released.
You go into the state, or not the States, you go into China and there's Hello Kitty pasta makers. I mean, that's not for kids.
Yeah.
There's Hello Kitty rice makers and all that sort of stuff. So, there's going to be a market for stuff that our silly social conscience views as kid friendly. That's going to work for people. And that thing that's changed over the last 20 years, we're a generation of arrested development, and it's a good thing, but we all still like cartoons and comics and all that stuff. We embrace that. So even in our world, the reality is that market's there. I've said this before, Squidly, our good friend Squidly. I mean, he'd love to see an officially licensed, properly done Spider-Man branded mod. He'd be the first in line for it. But our world doesn't allow for that. So,
well, I'm 45 and I'm getting like fully invested in the cartoons that my son is watching now. I find myself going to watch. Like, it's terrible. It's the same premise, just over and over again. Is that how cartoons have always been?
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, there's nothing new under the sun, and one thing I want to bring up, as we're kind of talking about it, is it's crazy to think that, how all this in the Western world, I guess we'll call it, because you guys are technically considered like a Western country over in Australia, you know what I mean, with advances technology and advertising and stuff. Our whole youth, at least for me, because I know you guys are a little bit older, but brands were thrown at us, logos and designs and all this stuff was thrown at us. Yeah. And then so it seeded a part of us, you know what I mean? Why do you think I like to take photos of vape stuff and do things like that? Because I make the brand labels pop. I like to do stuff like that, it's bold and it's out there. That's what we were taught, was bold, big and out there. And then it's crazy to think that people that are in charge of your make sure your roads are fixed and shit's going to tell you, oh, you're not allowed to have those kind of things, that you grew up with and that you it's what you did. You put us in front of TVs and years, and back in the day, I don't know if you see anymore, obviously I'm not buying toys, but back in the 70s and 80s, you could buy a whole Play-Doh set where you make French fries and McDonald's hamburgers branded, McDonald's stuff, and all this. And then it's crazy to think that, you can say 20, 30, 40 years later that, oh, you can't identify with that stuff anymore, and it's
what's weird is what happened in the 80s, because if you step back further, the earlier days of TV, speaking mostly North America, but back when you had the Lone Ranger cereal and TV show cereal with an S and all that sort of stuff, you would find shows like that, like The Honeymooners, which is the OG sitcom, all that stuff. After a season or two, they would license, and you'd find branded stuff all over the place. And it wasn't, oh, kids like toys and kids like fast food and junk. It was dishwashers And it'd be like, I mean, the Flintstones were hawking cigarettes because that's a family show. Mom and dad are watching, so it's fine. And we like everything would be branded across the board, mass media, pop culture stuff, and it was just kind of the normal thing. And in the 80s, all of a sudden, that division, that split, like Friends is okay for the mid people, and cartoons for the lower people, the littler people, and I don't know, Golden Girls for the old people or whatever. It just became real, like, ghettoized.
Mowgli,
and like I said,
Mowgli saying in chat there that Barney smoked Winston's.
yeah.
Like you had the old cartoons. I can't remember what it's called, like Howdy Doody or whatever it was called, or shows like that. It's like the old like Hanna-Barbera days, and like you had like they were smoking cigarettes and stuff like that, and all that stuff. And it's great, like it's kind of like counterintuitive to say like, oh, it influences kids to smoke, because I gotta tell you, I grew up watching those cheap cartoons every fucking Saturday, and I didn't smoke a cigarette till I was in like my mid-20s.
Yeah, me either. Tom and Jerry, or Yeah.
Have you seen some of those live ads though? Like back in the day when they used to just like roll tape, go, like no tape actually, just go. We're going live, and there would be like they were doing a puppet show, and it'd be like Howdy Doody, which is a puppet show, and it's just like all this stuff is like now for a quick word from our commercial sponsor. It would switch to another camera with a red curtain, which is now in black and white, and the guy that was on the camera would walk over, and then start doing an ad. And then he'd walk back, and what would we be advertising? Sears lawnmowers, brand new Sears lawnmowers. Get your dad to the TV right now. Tell him all about the Sears lawnmower. It's just new. Comes in green, comes in red, comes in blue. It's got our new patent pendant blade, double cut action, top and bottom, et cetera, et cetera. I don't even know about what they said, but it was just kind of weird that they would just it would be like family show. So it would advertise like whatever, Scotch, bourbon, whiskey, Sears tools. And the other thing is just that random, like, it's kind of weird watching someone do an ad. It's just like, stop the show. I'm going to sell some stuff.
I'm selling stuff. That's right. Yeah.
It's kind of how I feel whenever I start to show myself on my streams. It's like, oh, okay, time to talk about Patreon. I actually wish I had another camera I could just walk over.
And have a little table.
Yeah, a little table there, a little glass.
The best part would be if you did that, you'd have to do it like they did in the old days. You know how they have like the guy in the suit, the little slick suit, like the door-to-door salesman. But if you did it, Steve, wear just the top half, and we're like basketball shorts as the bottom. So when you walk over, that's how serious you are about it.
Oh man, I'd love to do that. That would be hilarious. Because I feel so uncomfortable doing that stuff.
Yeah, 100%.
Send me money because I want your money so I can not have a real job. Please
send me monies. I need all the monies. If
anyone here thinks that anyone on this channel is here for the money, I gotta tell you, there's only like 2 of you that know of our Patreon, and thank you for being Patreons. You know what I mean?
We still have Patreons on this channel.
Yeah, we actually have 3 Patreons for the Amigos. And they hold it down. I actually sent them some stuff not too long ago. But yeah, so like, I get it. Like, we don't want to take your money, but Steve needs it. Look at his beard.
I need beard oil. Look at that. It's getting dry.
Actually, yeah. When we started the Patreon, was when Steve had a clean face, and that's how long we've had a Patreon. Yeah.
Real quick, I want to point out in the chat, we've kind of had like a sidebar conversation about like maybe Aussie Shano being able to mix McDonald's hash brown flavor. And he said he can't do it, but he said if you want to vape something disgusting, just vape Bole Bolu. Macca's McDonald's hash browns are certainly doable, but who would want to vape that shit? And I'm not saying that because I think Bolu is shit, but man, you really don't like Bolu. I've actually tried it recently, and it's not my favorite, but it's not that bad.
No, it's not. It's not. It is a good e-liquid. It just depends on your tastes. Subjective.
Yeah, everyone has different tastes. I will tell you though, like a lot of dessert flavors, I'm starting to find that they just don't hold flavor for me, and they kind of go mute after a good, like, a good couple of flows on it. But then again, I'm also used to like, super sweet stuff like anarchist pink, and things like that. And I just wish they'd make a dessert that was that sweet. But I don't know if you can. I'm no scientist, so.
Oh, they're out there, my friend. They're out there. Yeah, their hot sweetness absolutely is all there. I'm sure a few in chat could probably put something in there that was like punch in the jaw flavor, but with sweetness to match as well. And you'll pay for it in your coils and your build, no doubt. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll never be one to pan a juice. Like if I like it, I like it. I'll let you know. If I don't like it, I'll let you know. It's my subjective opinion, but I'm not pan a juice because my taste bud isn't the greatest, and everyone likes different stuff. We all heard that, but if someone else likes something, like Squidly will live and die. Like saying something bad about Bole Bolu is fighting words for him.
Mm-hmm.
If someone else doesn't like it, that's their taste.
Yeah.
I mean, who am I to talk? I like croissant.
That's it. Let's just change tact a little bit here. I did say about this already, and it's probably all over the interwebs, but recently I found out via Alex Clark and Logan Exhales on the Kassar, I guess it's a podcast, but the YouTube, you can search for Kassar on YouTube, and Alex and Logan do a weekly thing where they talk about movement going on. Yes, it's mostly US based, but they do quite often talk about international stuff. And one thing that you can, if you're looking for a podcast or to empower yourself with a bit of knowledge, it's the University of Oxford, Dr. Hartman Boyce and Dr. Linson, who have a lot to do with the Cochrane reports, which is analyzing the, I always get this wrong, it's not metadata, it's meta-analysis. Is that right? Meta-analysis of particularly e-cigarettes and cessation devices and their effectiveness, and the reports and studies being done on that. They brought up the fact that if you search iTunes for the University of Oxford, you can see, you can listen to the podcast. There's quite a few episodes up, and they talk about revelations or what's happened in the past month. Really, really, really good information to empower yourself also for the constant debate on effectiveness of e-cigarettes as a smoking cessation situation. So, University of Oxford, that's what you search for. iTunes, outstanding. Really, really good.
On the advocacy kind of side, information side, I don't know if you guys are in where you're at, saw it, but the FDA here is moving to ban menthol cigarettes within the next 2 years here in the U.S. And they actually stopped short of banning menthol vapes. So that is a positive sign.
Yeah, I've been seeing the mutterings about that, and brings up an interesting point about menthol versus regular tobacco versus cigarettes on shelves. That whole situation, but it's good news because you can't pigeonhole everyone, right?
It's a very complex issue. I know it sounds like it would be very, very simple, but it's very, very complex. So there's multiple sides. One of which is that we keep hearing that they want to ban menthol because the tobacco companies use menthol as a marketing practice and pushed it on Black people, and it's exploitative, etc. And then you have the entire Black community going, well, fuck you. We like menthol. Leave us alone. Mm-hmm. Taking it away, that's what's racist. Allow us to have what we want. So there's those two things going. But then on top of all of that is the thing that neither side ever brings up, which is that menthol is actually pretty carcinogenic. And that's been studied and shown in the past. So maybe it's something that we shouldn't be using, whether it's in vapes or tobacco. So like I said, there's a lot of different angles, and because of the racism issue, it's something that I'm very tentative to talk about sometimes because it's not really my place. But
I do hate that they use that as a big beacon factor right now, and I don't ever really try to get political on here, but I do and I don't like even saying stuff like this, but it's definitely a virtue signaling thing to blame it on a race thing, because I understand there's predominant numbers on things, and there's research done that proves that maybe certain groups of people use stuff more. But then if you're going to take away an option from that group right away and do something like that, are you really helping that group? You know what I mean? Are you going to create an underground market for it, just like you do with vaping,
Yeah.
And I don't think that that's the right play to do off of it. If you want to do it because you want to make everyone healthier and you want to make sure the next generations are smoke free, cool. But I don't think that that's something that you should definitely base it off of, you know. And I understand like that's a hot subject. We shouldn't get into things like that, especially on this show or any show, in my opinion.
The thing is, regardless of race, put that to aside, as a smoker, a non-menthol smoker, if I was out and I needed to smoke and someone had menthols, I would take it. As a smoker, fine, it's a smoke. I'd bitch and complain all the way through. But at least I'm smoking.
Yeah.
Smoking menthol, better than not smoking. That was my opinion. And I would say that, I met people who claim they wouldn't. I think there's probably less than claim that. But I think the same goes the other way around. If you're a menthol smoker and, we can't get menthols anymore, start hanging out for a smoke, fine, give me a Pall Mall, whatever, give me a Camel, whatever you've got. It's a smoke. It's not menthol. I'm going to complain that I'm missing my minty flavor, but at least it's a smoke. So if they ban menthol, I said we wouldn't talk about race, but just say about the menthol smokers as they exist across the states. If they ban menthol,
you're just going to
is that helping people quit smoking? No. Or is that just taking one product off the shelf and now they'll switch to a different one?
Yeah.
Is it really going to help?
And that's the thing.
I don't really think so.
Yeah. Especially with all of us like being prior smokers here, you know what I mean? Like you hit it the nail on the head. If you go without what you want, you're going to go with what you have. And it's not really helping. It's like, this is my problem with it, is you're not really helping a certain group of people by getting rid of it. You're just pushing them to the next alternative.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And hopefully it's vaping because, it's a safer, form of nicotine delivery. Hopefully something like that, and it opens up the horizons for some. But to be honest, when it comes down to comfortability of things like that, do you go out of your wheelhouse and try stuff without the knowledge of it? Or you just go to something that you already know, which is regular cigarettes, And like, I was the same way. I was a menthol cigarette smoker. And like, when I was in the Army, we'd have a smoke pit, right? You can only smoke designated areas. I go out there and like, we're on like 3 weeks out in the field, right? Or we're overseas or something. I wasn't able to get to the PX to shop at or order my cigarettes. You know what I'm doing? I'm smoking a fucking Marlboro that I can't stand, but it's because I'm getting.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're not really helping anyone when you leave another option there. You're pushing them to one option. It's either figure it out or don't. And like, that's not really helping anyone. You know what I mean? Like you're just pushing them to something else.
Yeah.
But this does raise a question, and not standing behind prohibition in any way. Don't agree with that. But if they ban menthol cigarettes but don't ban iced and menthol vaping, what percentage of menthol smokers will, during that short transition period, go, well, the cigarettes are kind of crap, but I can get menthol tobacco in vapes. Maybe I should give that a try.
Yeah.
How many of them will actually take that step that they might not have already taken or might not have considered in the past? They might have looked at it and gone, vaping's for wankers and hipsters, but they've got menthol.
Yeah, yeah.
It's going to definitely open up the doors for a lot of opportunity for people to make the switch and like, find a better alternative for nicotine delivery. And, I'm all for that, but it's not be, the way that they're presenting it, you know what I mean? Like you can prove something or you can have something, but your intentions behind it don't say that, you're trying to sell people a cheeseburger when you're giving them a fucking sandwich. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a very interesting topic. Matthew Welch was just saying there in chat, never a menthol smoker. All I vape is menthol. WTF. Very interesting. Yeah.
And I'll be honest, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, I was absolutely the same. When I started vaping, I've told this story 100 times. I bought like 3 different types of tobacco and 1 different flavor, strawberry milkshake. And that was the thing that made me switch. So I would never have expected that. I would have laughed and was like, no way, I'm tobacco.
And it's going to be, and it's going to be a whole change for a lot of people if they try to go from, smoking to vaping, because it was for me. That was one of the big things is that it took me a long time to find a juice to make me quit. It took me like a year of like working in the industry and being a part of it to find pink. I vaped and I dual used. I was smoking and I was vaping. I was smoking and I was vaping. And then when the Anarchist Pink came out, I'm not trying to shield, just sharing what mine was. I stopped. It was able to do that. But it's like, you got to think like this too. A lot of people are gonna have the mindset like I did. When you've seen like flavored cigarillos or cigars or like cigarettes and stuff like that, they taste like absolute shit. And if you've tried them, you're going to think that, like going to vaping, it's going to be the same way. And it's going to maybe turn you off to it. And I don't think that anyone out there is going to ever stumble across our streams because we're very specific on stuff like this. But anyone out there that's watching this that may be thinking about making the switch or doing it, do it. You'll thank yourself later, because I went through a billion fucking cereal flavors and milk flavors, in my personal opinion, that I hated until I found something that works. Like, don't give up and keep trying on it. And then also, don't go buy 100 mils of something that you don't think you're going to like. You know what I mean? It sucks you can't go into a vape bar nowadays, like you could back 5-6 years ago and try different flavors. But buy a 60 mil of something that sounds good. And if it sucks, then you have it for a backup somewhere and you didn't spend too much money on it. You know what I mean? And you can try other stuff out there and mix it up. Because I'll be dead honest with you. When I was introduced to vaping when I came home from overseas. And it was 2011. And I was a pack every 2 days of Newport 100 menthol. Nothing smacked me as good as a menthol cigarette after a beer, waking up, taking a crap, whatever it was. Yeah. And then I had a buddy that was getting into vaping, and that was back even when they had cartomizer kind of stuff. As when we're switching from cartomizers to coils and shit like that. And as before I was even a part of the industry. And I tried a couple. This one, it tasted like Captain Crunch cereal. It was the best fucking thing I've ever had. And I couldn't find it anywhere because back then everyone was not home brews, but it was shop brews, because in the shops they can make it on their own. And I could never find it again. So I gave up on trying to find it. And I probably could have quit a lot sooner if it was something that was more, normalized, or something that was around more often. And so if anyone's out there watching, this, as weird, as doofy as I look today, use me as an example. There's hope out there for you to find something that's going to help you, get to the other side, and get out there. You just got to try it all.
Yeah.
I think my biggest advice when it comes to flavors, especially specifically when people are just starting, is that a lot of people get caught up in the tobacco thing, and that's a whole different conversation. But other people decide, okay, so I'm going to get into vaping, I'm going to grab some flavors, and they kind of think about the flavors that they like in the real world, and they go, okay, so my top 5 flavors that I like, let's try those as vapes. And the thing is, those are usually not the flavors that work for you the best, because you love them so much in the real world, and because there's so many other sensory connections. There's temperature, there's crispiness, there's fluffiness, there's smoothness with custard. There's all sorts of things that you associate with the flavor that are missing in vape, that sometimes those don't really work so well. And sometimes it's a case of needing to take your narrow real life flavor profile and just kind of widen it out for a while and just be more experimental with it and try things that maybe you don't like in the real world. I'm not a big fan of peanut butter in real life because of the texture, but I quite like it in a vape because I get the flavor without the texture, that sort of thing.
I was just thinking when the most amazing, first timers kit where you buy, a pack that's got, 3 fruits, some lollies, 3 bakeries, a menthol, and then a couple other weird ones that were all in very small milliliter situations, so that you could go, because that's the first thing, what flavors do you want when you're asking someone about, making a switch to vaping, and they're like, what are you talking about? And you just hand them that, and then you go, here's fruits, here's bakeries, here's custards, here's, tobacco, here's something else, and, you could do, it would be the taste of the rainbow,
Yeah. Well, exactly. This is why I think, very, very unpopular opinion, but I think there's great potential in pre-filled and disposable pod systems, whether it's the pod or just the full system itself. Just because, wouldn't it be awesome if instead of the shitty flavors that come in those, they actually worked with companies? You could buy a box of Anarchist pods, just all pre-filled, ready to go from beginning to end, all those flavors, and you could just try them out and go through one. It's only a
I've been trying to push that so hard.
I was waiting for you. I saw the look and I was like, damn it.
but think about it. If you could go into a store and buy a box of fairly inexpensive pods, either a box set of Anarchist or just mix and match with the brand names, the flavors that are already out there. So you got better flavors, more complex flavors, richer flavors tuned for this device, not the shitty flavors that we get in pre-filleds now.
Yeah.
And it was just that first step. I got to go answer the door.
Yeah.
So I'll leave you with that thought.
No, we tried some. Dinner Lady did disposable pods when we were in NZ. They were handing them out left, right, and center, and it didn't translate the same as. I mean, obviously, again, we're looking for flavor explosion and all that sort of stuff, but
But my question was, was it salt mix that you guys did that with?
that is a very good question. Yeah. Yeah.
So like, sorry, can you repeat your answer? I'm sorry.
No, I think it may have been. I'm not 100% sure there, but I think it may have been. It definitely was not very punchy. The flavors were very tuned down, and it was a disposable, very cheap device. And maybe that was a sample version. I don't know, but it was most definitely.
I do know that, my personal experience, at least, we all have that in the vape world. We're all fucking different with everything like that. But I do notice that flavor translates a lot better on a salt nic and a pod device than it would a regular base, free base nicotine. And that's just because of the concentration value of it. And I don't know, like, what you went to NZ, a couple of years ago?
Yeah, 2 years ago.
And I think that, I don't know if, I can't speak for, your experience with that, but I got to imagine that back then, that was when salts were first starting to hit, and a lot of people kind of afraid of them, you know what I mean? You'd only see, at least here in the States, you'd see, Ripe Vapes or something like that, do it, a barista brew, do it and stuff like that. And I've tried a couple of them, and if people like them, that's cool. But I'll be honest, the first batches of stuff that were coming out, they weren't that great. And of course, it takes time to perfect stuff. But I will say this, since Legion's back, one of the biggest, now in the States, you can't do pre-filled pods anymore, unless you're just doing tobacco and that's about it nowadays. But back when that was an option for people to pre-fill pods, and do stuff like that, a lot of companies, you have to, because unless you're going to get a whole manufacturing setup to do your own pods, and all that stuff, which would take a lot of money and time and investment, you'd have to share your recipes with other companies that are doing it. And a lot of those pod companies, I can't think of any that I know of, at least my industry experience, that make the pre-filled pods in the States besides Philip Morris with Juul and stuff like that. And a lot of the other pods you'd get would be from overseas countries Indonesia or China and stuff like that. You'd have to share recipes with them. And once you're that's your money maker right there, is your recipe. And then once your recipe gets open out there and people can start cloning it, you're kind of
but that wouldn't be hard to get around. I mean, look at Coke. Coke gets bottled all over the world, but it doesn't get made all over the world. The syrup is sent in a very, very concentrated form, then water and carbonation, all that.
No, I understand that.
And you could do the same.
We do, I'm not saying we, but I know that, some companies do that because, for the UK and stuff like that, the TPD juice that's made by some brands out here in the States is sent there in buckets, and they just bottle it out there for their short fills, and they do all that stuff. But the thing is you have to trust that company. It's very hard to find reputable people that actually keep up on it or anything like that. I'm not speaking from I'm speaking this is my own personal thoughts. This doesn't have anything to do with my job or anything like that. But I know there's companies out there that you think you can trust that would do stuff like that right, and they actually don't.
Yeah.
And it's very hard to do that because a lot of people worked very hard. Just for an example, the owner that I worked for, Erica, right? She's owned Anarchist forever. She owned Vapor Treats and all this stuff, and created all these flavors. And you got to think it's like sending your kid off to college, you know what I mean? Hoping that everyone treats it right and things like that. And it's your baby. And a lot of times it's a lot you'd rather avoid the risk, and it takes a long time to find the reputable companies that you can trust because you've created a brand, or you've created a flavor, or you've created an ambiance of who you are and what you provide. And you have to put that trust in that other company, because you got to think about it, stuff that say Anarchist in the US, you know how good it is, how it's going to come and all that stuff. And then you send it to the UK and they do one thing wrong in bottling or something. And then that's totally tarnishes your brand completely over there, with the market. And you ruined a market that you can't even speak to directly.
Yeah.
But again, as saying with Coke, they have people that go out and double check. They have standards.
Yeah, but Coke is $1 billion company.
And so should the vape companies be. They should be. That market should be there. They should have that opportunity.
Big tobacco, man. Big tobacco.
No. Big vape.
Yeah.
We need. My point was, aside from the technicalities of the industry and how it works, I just want to see smokers have better options, at least as good as we had, and better if possible.
Yeah.
And I'd love to be able to see someone walk into a store and throw out 3 or 4 flavors that they like. Have the guy go, boom, pick from this 10 things, walk out with 5 different pods.
Hell yeah.
And go, man, these two were okay, but that one was fucking killer. Let's dig deeper. Let's now get an actual tank and a mod. Now that I've tried it out and I know it works and I found a flavor that I like, and I think that that's far more likely to happen with more complex flavors, with more rich flavors, with a broader breadth of flavors than mint, berry, tobacco, and mango. Because literally, and mung bean.
And mung bean. Small funny story talking about pre-filled pods. When I came to my last time when I came to the US, I think California or whatever, the legislation there had changed for no, it was all over the US, but particularly California. And I text Vandal, I'm leaving the airport, all this sort of thing. And I had on my person, I had a couple of pre-filled pods in my bag. I had one in my little, my urn. I had some in my luggage. So I was carrying contraband, everything had one in there, and I was freaking out. Freaking out going through LAX airport, at TSA and all that sort of thing. And they're like, do you have anything to declare? And I felt like saying, I'm a drug dealer. I've got pre-filled pods.
If it makes you feel any better about smuggling stuff that is banned through TSA, as someone that went through an airport 100 times at least with one of those card pocket knives, it looks like a business card, you fold it. I got through TSA every fucking time, because I'd forget it was in my fucking wallet, and go through, but you can get marijuana through it and stuff like that. I'll be honest with you, it just depends on how zealous that the person's being that's doing their job. But I did want to point out in the chat, the Irishman said that with the pre-filled juices and stuff like that, he said that was already done. The Aspire Gusto had pre-filled pods with juices by Element, Nasty Juice, and Riot Squad. So I asked, because I think I saw those, but they didn't really take off too well. And then he says, I never really took off because to get the device in pods. And I think another thing too is the I can't even talk right now. The familiarness of using how you've already done the long time of using juices. Yeah. And putting it on your build, or you're doing your cotton and your coils and stuff like that. A lot of people that are already established in their ways, especially somebody like me that's a very functional vapor. You guys don't see me with cool stuff all the time or see me getting excited for stuff. I get something and it fucking works, Yeah. I'm like that sleepy dad on a chair all the time, it works. It's all I need. And I think that's a big thing too, is that a lot of people are standoffish about it. Just think about the backlash that a lot of people saw when just regular pod systems came out. And and stuff like that, oh, this is going to be the end of vaping, this is going to be that. And then now look at how more familiar people are with it. It's been a couple years now since pods were hit real hard and stuff like that. I'm not gonna lie to you, I was one of those people at first that was like, man, I don't know fucking pod, fuck that. Sorry for swearing, screw that, I don't want any of that stuff, and I didn't want to try any of that. And now look at me, I can't get this thing away from my mouth for more than 5 minutes, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Really quickly also, we gave a couple of those pods to a dude who was in the hotel down in the smoking section, because we were hanging outside, and it was at one of those smoking sections and vaping down there. And you're absolutely right, we were looking for that same experience, but those pods or the disposables didn't have it. But we were talking with a pilot, a guy who flew for Emirates. He was smoking like a chimney, and we gave him one of those things, and he was like, wow, the flavor's so good, and I remember kind of thinking to myself, no, it wasn't. And then I was like, but hang on, I'm not the target market here, he is. Yeah. And 100%, hopefully they, if they have to continue using it, they move on to something that will give them a better experience. But those people, that's completely chalk and cheese to what they're smoking. So yeah.
Take care. The thing is, what you're saying there, we get very, very blinkered. We get blinded by the fact that we're in it. We're in the hobbyist enthusiast market. That's where we live. That's where we experience our vaping. And most people in the world, even I could say that most vapors are not part of that. Most vapors, we've talked about before, they don't watch streams. They don't watch reviews. They just go to the store, buy some pods, and vape. That's it. They're nurses, they're accountants, they're general day-to-day people. They just buy their stuff and vape. They don't know about the politics. They're a little bit worried about the headlines. Yeah. They've quit smoking, they buy their stuff and they vape. And that's the mass part of the market. Part of why pods and pod systems have taken off as much as they have, because they really do suit that side of the market way more than us. But it also kind of leads to that other thing that we've seen so many proposals made in terms of law from both the ant side and our side. And one of them is that, getting them out of convenience stores, getting them away from the corner stores and the gas stations, or at least restricting them to tobacco and menthol only. And I'm starting to think that maybe that's the wrong mindset. Maybe more of them in convenience stores and more tobacco stores having bigger sections, and maybe some fucking training in those stores so people can talk about them knowledgeably and promote them. And eventually maybe those stores would become full-on pod stores. Yes, we as a community keep thinking that the B&Ms are the lifeblood, and they are for the enthusiast market.
For us.
But I think that any smoker heading down to 7-Eleven at 11:30 at night, grab a pack of smokes, going to go back, watch the end of the game or whatever I'm doing, and then go to work in the morning, they should be faced with pods and flavors, good flavors, every single time. So that becomes more normalized, more of an option, more of a, give me my regular, and I'll take one of those. I'll give it a try.
Yeah.
Can't smoke in the car with the kids anyway, so we'll get.
That's what I did in Ireland. I was at a news agency, and buying a couple of chocolate bars for me and my buddy, and behind the person serving me was an e-cigarette, like a cigarette on the wall just behind her, and I was like, I'll take one of those as well. Awesome. And that was purely subjective selling. It wasn't even, I had no ads. I could see it right on the wall. It was insane.
And that's why people a lot of people outside of our realm are scoff at us saying alcohol, because it's so common and it's everywhere. I don't know about in Australia how you guys do it, but you can walk into a gas station within 2 feet of the door, which means you can grab it and run. That was a popular thing in high school, to do a beer run. It's there. It's in your face.
Yeah.
You just walk right past it if you don't want it. And if you want it, it's there for you. You know what I mean? And a lot of people, I get it. Like in the vape industry, when they started getting the C stores and stuff like that, and people were like, ban vaping from convenience stores, do that. That was actually a step backwards, in my opinion, because you took away the normalization. You just blacklisted it, and you put a negative connotation on it. And from the industry, we should have fought for them to stay in convenience stores, because that's the normalization that Steve was saying. It's there. And then it's less scary. You watch, you think of something super scary, it's something super weird, you deal with it, and then oh, it's not that bad. Or, oh, I see someone else using it. Yeah, I think it would have been in a testament to vaping being better for people and being something that helped. Well, if you kept them in the convenience store and you see your 80-year-old grandma buying it, or like Steve said, your nurse buying it or whatever, then, just instantly thinking, oh, the convenience store guy doesn't care, he's going to sell it to the kids instantly. Does that happen? Sure. But it's just the same with alcohol. When I was a kid, I've stolen beer from a gas station, and it was right there in front of me. But all the cigarette tobacco products, vapes, they're behind a shelf and stuff like that. So it's a little bit harder to do things like that. And it's just
no teenager ever stole or bought a vape from a convenience store and then wrapped their car around a tree and killed their two best friends and had to live with that. That's never happened.
Yep.
But you know what? Let's take the vapes out of the convenience stores because they're killing our kids. Let's leave the beer and the Mickeys behind the counter. Absolutely fine. Talk about normalization, because and Adam will get this. We live in Australia, and I watch movies and TV shows with my wife, as we all do, and everyone watches with my wife. It's a weird way to phrase it, but yeah, we watch an American show, and kid goes into the 7-Eleven and grabs a couple of beers on the show, and she's looking at me going is it really like that? I'm like, yeah, that's what it's like in the States. And then the next episode, guy is going into Walmart. Guy goes into Walmart to buy a new ghetto blaster in the show, walks past the gun aisle, and she's like, do they really sell all that shit in Walmart? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, full on hunting rifles and all that stuff, handguns. Yeah, you can bullets, it's like, to her, that's bizarre. That's out of reality. That's science fiction, because that's not how our world works. But it's how your world works. It's totally normalized.
Yeah.
To us, it's like we have to go to a special place. There's two types of special places. There's one that will serve it to you where you can drink it, and there's another one where you can buy it.
Yeah.
And that's literally that's how it works in our world. Yeah. And guns is the same thing. You go into a license plate. There's a big fucking grate on the window. You can go in. You can buy hunting rifles, but you can't buy submachine guns and automatic rifles and all that stuff. You guys have that in Walmart. That's normal for you. For us, that's like, whoa, that's kind of weird.
I was just showing I just wanted to show that, this is a Netflix series that we were watching the other night. That is Kate Winslet vaping on the series, and she does it quite often during the episodes. Very normal. It's just I mean, it is a stress release situation whenever they do it, but
I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
Because if you guys, another Netflix show. It's crazy that Netflix is being a little bit more forward thinking. I'll be honest with you, I don't like to watch most Netflix made stuff. This isn't my feel. This isn't my vibe. But I watched some of the movies, and they had this one movie. I can't remember what it was, but it was a chick who was scamming old people and putting them in homes. So definitely not the best person to be providing insight into vaping. But the whole show, she was hitting a little vape. She had one with a tank and everything, just hitting her vape. Yeah. And you're starting to see it become more normalized across things now, because I know everyone's seen the meme of Ben Affleck. It's been out for years now, where he's just standing there with a cigarette, and it's like, oh, after a work week or whatever, he's like smoking or whatever. One came out the other day where like, oh, he finally upgraded, and now there's pictures of Ben Affleck with a fucking smock and a smock tank vaping in his car. You know what I mean? And these are people, I'm not saying you should follow celebrities to do stuff like this, but I guarantee you that they're looking more towards their health than a lot of the average people are, because they make money off of being alive. You know what I mean? And so if there's something there that these people that have they have what is it? They have the people that give, I can't think of the name right now, but they give them food advice. They give them health advice. These celebrities are people that do that. Mm-hmm. That had to be something that was recommended probably, or something that he tried, and he notices the difference on it. And I'm not trying to, use celebrity branding or anything like that. But if someone that has the people that are making sure that you're staying alive says that something like that's okay for you, I think it should be okay for everybody, and go ahead.
I think it should be normalized, but I think we should be very, very cautious of celebrity branding, in the sense of, we live in a weird fucking world. And the last thing I ever want to see is Tom Hanks has been a closet smoker all his life and nobody knew, but now he's vaping and he's being out there about it because it helped him quit. Yeah. And he's openly vaping in interviews and stuff. And he's now the spokesperson. He's normalized this. And then 2 years from that, all his interns hold their hands up and go, me too. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, anything that Tom's involved with is not saying he is, but right. Imagine if that happened. That would that would be one more nail against us.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. I want to make the dissemination that what's his name? Ben Affleck obviously didn't come out and advocate for vaping, but you catch the paparazzi photos of him using it just in his day-to-day life. Yeah. I'm not saying we need celebrity branded endorsements. We don't need a Paris Hilton That's Hot Jewel Pod or nothing like that.
Fuck no.
But the fact that you see these people doing it in their normal lives, and they're not saying that there's anything wrong with it. Their whole personality is not based around advocating for it. They're using it as the function that it's intended to use, is to cessate and help you live a healthier life. Yeah. And I think that's what I meant, more or less. Now definitely we don't need fucking Dumb and Dumber branded vapes or nothing like that. You know what I mean?
What would help? Ryan Reynolds needs to buy an e-liquid company.
Travis Barker is doing it with CBD, so that made me. Yeah, Blink-182, the drummer. But in the same vein, that's considered okay. No big deal, because it's normalized. But in the same, when I saw Kate Winslet doing it, she's that kind of actor where I was thinking, is that part of the character? Is that actually her? And then you go back and find, she doesn't have social medias and she absolutely, despises them. But in the same vein, there's plenty of stories about how she was a chain smoker. She's, got kids, that whole thing. And then there's a point when it stops and she's no longer a smoker. It's like, come on, give us the share your success story. That's all you need. Yeah. You don't need people putting their hands up going, absolutely vaping, but we just need someone to say it worked.
That actually raises a weird thought and a weird question. One, so she's English. Yeah. She lives in England, as far as I know, and travels for work. So the English side of things, their promotion, that's gotten through. This is a viable option. I smoke too much. I need to quit. I want to be making movies when I'm 90. Fuck, let's try the vape thing. Yeah. That's gotten into her in a way that things haven't in the States or as well. But it also kind of raises that other question. Her and however many other closeted ex-smokers, now vapors in the media, whether they're musicians or actors, directors, whatever, how many of them sneakily slip into YouTube. Well, I gotta find out about this vaping stuff. I gotta learn how this works. Fuck. I bought a thing. It didn't work for me. I'm sitting here in my mansion with my Rolls Royce, with my laptop, going, I got to figure out what it works. Oh, okay. So, the Amigos.
Searching for,
See what these guys have to say. Hidden away, never speaking up in chat, or maybe they've got weird names like Vicious Vapor. Maybe that's actually Ben Affleck right there. I mean, who the fuck knows?
Yeah.
Anyone's anonymous in the chat section, unless they want to be very, very forthright. So,
yeah.
Those people, like I said, Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah,
he's a savvy guy. He's going to go out there and do his research. If he wants to learn what vaping is about, he's going to go and watch people who vape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm certainly one of those people that, thankful for YouTube, because that's how I found vaping. Like if I'd gone through the found it at the right time when it was, the YouTube, clean out of all of the channels and people were done because, YouTube had done that, I would have never found vaping, like just straight up. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. That's the truth about it, is that this information that's being put out there, people are watching, the people that aren't even directly connected to us. And I'll say it as as a joke, but I get so many fucking notifications from new people that follow the channel or people that never I've seen before on here watching the stuff. And I was talking to these two guys before the show about it. The stuff that they put out there, that's the pre-recorded content. Sure, our lives, we get a little bit of attention, stuff like that. We're not complaining about that at all. But the bacon roll video from Breestones, I swear to God, if I get another goddamn notification about someone saying how it's changed their life, I'm going to flip, because Adam never texts the email. I always know. But the thing is, you're absolutely right. People go out there and they research stuff. And everything that I've gotten, that I've seen from your stuff, sure, it may not be right for some people. That's cool, or whatever, it doesn't work out. And so we haven't had any negative feedback on it, but it's subjective feedback, because the people, they search for it, they find it, and they either compliment the thing, say it's helped them some way, or they say, actually, I prefer it this other way. But the information that we're putting out there, it's being seen.
Yeah.
It's being, it's out there. I'll be honest with you, watching a replay of a live, personally, for my own opinion, I'm not a huge fan of. I'd rather interact, with the stuff. But the fact that, the people go out there and they see the solid information that's put together in a pre-recorded thing or whatever, because it's not an interaction like this. It's to share insight. It's to share experience. And people are looking at those things. And I just, quick caveat to what I'm saying is, if you're doing these things and you're feeling down, don't, because there are people out there watching.
Yeah.
There are people out there taking advantage of the stuff that you're putting out there. Advocate for Liberty says it changed his life right there in the chat, and stuff like that. Sure, he watches our channel consistently. And so he's someone that's not new, but that's information that he's able to share with the next person and the next person. And that's what's beautiful about this industry, is that everything that's ever gone through, one of us has gone through all of us, and each one of us has found a way to apply it to whether we use it or we don't use it, but we know that it's good for us and we know it's not. And then we have people that ask us in the future about it, and we can share that with them and see if it works for them. And that's the same thing with the flavors thing we were talking about. We all have different tastes, but the fact that we're sharing this knowledge openly and being helpful about it, it's out there. Keep fucking doing it. Keep doing it for the people that are watching. And I just want to point out real fast that Matthew Welch in the chat, because I love it. It's funny. He said they all saw Rip or Jay Hayes and said, "Nah, I'm good." And yeah, that's the people that we're fighting, not fighting against, I will say, because we're not enemies of anyone on this channel, of any other channels and stuff like that. But from my own personal aspect, yeah, there's some stuff on those channels that I don't agree with, or the way they approach things. Unfortunately for me, I get no use out of it. Maybe there's some people that use the hopefully get the message more than, how it's presented, and they use it better. But those are definitely the, but the fact that it's brought up, it's definitely, a known thought process of these people are negative, or these people give off abrasive views and stuff like that. So if you're doing stuff like that and you don't see as many views as them, don't feel bad about it. A lot of the people that are watching that are just there for the hype. They're there for the bullshit. The people that you're actually helping are the silent ones, because they take it and apply it. A lot of those people that are on those guys' channels saying, "Oh, I love this, it's so great, blah blah." Sure, some of them I'm not going to doubt and say it doesn't work for them, but a lot of them are just there because this is cool. I want to be a part of this. I want to get a part of the attention. Oh my God, just make up a name real quick. Fish Tank Vapes, dropped a video, and then it's oh, hype beast, black lights, RGB, clouds, and all the people in the comments, yeah, hell yeah, bro, keep going, that's sick. That's not somebody you're helping. That's somebody that's there for that specific message of how it's portrayed. You're helping the people that are sitting there being quiet, thinking, "Oh, you know what? That's a good idea. The guy's a fucking idiot." But I love the way that he did that, and then they share it with other people. So
The way I view it, and this kind of goes back to why I started doing this, the most frequent comment about how I do, get all other stuff, but the most frequent comment about when people first sign up, they first sub to me, is that I'm calm, I'm rational, I'm very relaxing. I personally don't see that. I don't recognize that in myself, but they do. And a little bit of thought has shown me that it's they're saying that in comparison.
Yeah.
I'm a personality that is that in comparison. If you just come from Rip Trippers, to me, yeah, I'm a lot more calm. I don't do rapid fire editing. I don't yell. I don't throw my face at the camera while gargling e-liquid or whatever. But don't gargle e-liquid. Yeah, I don't do any of that shit. So yeah, in comparison, I'm calm. But this is what I'm getting to. Is when I started, I've said this before, I looked at a couple of people that I really enjoyed what they did. And I noticed, yeah, a couple of similar names in their comments, but then a whole bunch of, well, these people aren't over here and these people aren't over there. But I've seen some of them in both over in this third person.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Different personalities and different presentation methods work for different people. Maybe we don't need one spokesperson for the whole industry. Maybe we need as many as we can because each personality will work for different people. My audience is out there, and some of what I do, some of them are Grimm people, but not all of Grimm's people will like what I do. But maybe some of Dean's people will resonate with what I do, but not all of Dean's people, and that's okay. And that was my first, okay, yeah, I can do this because I'll just be me. And however that works, there is an audience. Some of them will cross over with others and some of them will be new. And those new people, they're really special because they are core. They don't like that. They don't like that, but they like what I do. And they need that information too. So, I just...
Iris Fam threw it out in the chat right there. Steve, your video, 5 things that every vapor should know, has 1.2 million views. 1.2 million people that you saw. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying this is negative, but do you have 1.2 million followers? No, but you brought something to 1.2 million people that they were able to apply to and use again. And I get it. Like you'll see a video of a guy getting kicked in the nuts, viewed 5 million times. Does that help anyone? No. But the fact is that you provided helpful knowledge. Every single one of those people, I guarantee you, probably walked away with something to make their experience better.
Yeah, Hundy P. That's right. It's a very broad situation of how people take on information or what they're looking for, or whether it's not information at all. Yeah, indeed.
I mean, I'll admit there are people that in other realms outside of the vapor realm that I love their work, but they kind of annoy me. And there are other people that I don't think they're quite as good, but I really enjoy their presentation. So I have a wide range of what I enjoy too. There are people that I will go to first, just automatically, like camera news, just like that guy's good. This guy came up with the video first, but that's the one I'm watching. And this is kind of how it works for me. And I think it works for everyone. You've got personality. I get people that watch stuff that they're not interested in because it's my video. That's to me, that's weird. Like you don't care about pods. Why are you watching a pod review? But
because a lot of people like to feel validated by watching things they say they don't agree with when there's something in there that they can nitpick out and say that it sucks.
Yeah.
There's some of
justifies
those.
a lot of people's feelings. You know what I mean? Like I need a justification on why I feel this way when. Not to get all philosophical about it, but a lot of people are just looking for a reason to justify why they don't like something, or because they never tried it or they never experienced it.
But I know what you're saying, but there is the more positive side too. There are the people that go, well, I'm so far into RDAs and rebuildables and mechs, and that's what I do and that's what I love. But fuck if I can recommend anything to anyone because I'm not in there. Let's watch some of the newer devices. Let's know what pods are good. So that when my sister calls me and says, okay, I'm finally ready, I know what to recommend. And I watch Steve and he says, this is shit, that's okay. But, this new Geek Vape, it's awesome. Or this new Vaporesso is awesome. I'll recommend that to my sister because I liked what I saw in that video. That way I don't have to buy it and try it. I'll just let him do that and I'll pass that info on, which is, awesome.
And I think that's one of the best things about this industry and like this community of stuff. Every video you come on here that's like, you know, a vape related show or anything like that, it's got, there's always some kind of tidbit of information there. And like everyone's just trying to share information of things that they've learned. And don't get me wrong, there's the shows out there where like, you know, just for a lack of better choices to choose, you see people like, this is my obviously my opinion, but like Jay Hayes, I think he's a little too out there with stuff like that. But they still find something that they use with it. The presentation's not on key for me, but there's something in there maybe I'd be able to use. But everything in vaping world, because there's no real just like sit around and we're vaping and we're bullshitting kind of shows, you know what I mean? That just talk about nothing. You know what I mean? Everything has some sort of information entailed into it, whether it's how you wick this RDA or how you use this mod. And that's one of the things that keeps our industry and our communities alive. Is because everything is helpful information to a degree. Everything's like shared knowledge. You know, it's like YouTube is the encyclopedia of vaping. I don't know if you agree with that or not. I don't care. But to me, it's encyclopedia of vaping because you'll find something from a fucking Caliburn all the way up to Legion doing his eloquent reviews, his honest reviews, to the Rip Trippers and everybody in between. There's always some kind of information there. And I get it. Like you can go on and you say like, oh, you could do that on a DIY channel, but that's just specifically DIY stuff, or like you can like not mixing juices. I mean, like building stuff around your house. It's for the specific purpose. But with our community, we come here, we hang out, we share a little bit, but we also share information and knowledge. You get a little bit of after school special with everything.
Yeah, 100%.
Speaking of after school special, I do have to say, one, we've been going for quite a while, which is awesome, not a problem. But isn't this about the time that Adam will pull us aside and make us feel all fuzzy and warm? Don't you usually have some thought-provoking thing to share with us?
Yes, I do. Should we do it? I kind of was not going to go there, but I will go there. Let's do it. All right. Let's end, or shall we end on the finger pointing?
Well, yeah. After that, though, we got to go away.
All right.
You know that it always leads to a conversation.
I know.
So that's a good thing.
Yeah. All right. You can even motivational blah blahs for today, and I want to start this with a disclaimer that this was a conversation had recently. I don't want this person to think I am finger pointing. I'm not in any way, shape, or form. But this is just something that I wanted to say. Do the best until you know better. Then, when you know better, do better. It's a case of learning something or trying, and learning something, and it's very easy to take backward steps, and I think that comes down to discipline, or there are a million reasons why people learn something and then decide to go back to the way that they were. It's not easy to stay disciplined and motivated to want to be, because that's a daily thing. Like even people that have it together, they spend so much time trying to keep themselves together. It's just one of those things when you see those words like that is so very, very simple. Do the best until you know better. Then when you know better, do better. I mean, it's I'm not going to put it into into context of something, but I'm sure a lot of people can relate with that in certain aspects of their life, and it was more of a case of having a conversation with someone about that, and I was thinking, how can you go backwards? It was getting me emotional because I was like, dude, I want you to be a better human, and those kind of things. And again, not for any contextual situation or anything like that, but I think that's also to be a reminder of that it's hard work. It's bloody hard work to stay steps forward as opposed to going backwards. So everyone's in it, everyone's around you. Ask for help. I mean, it always comes back to the same things, doesn't it? But being disciplined to be a better human it takes effort and hard work, but being reminded or reminding yourself of that discipline, that I'm going to shut up because I'm just raving.
The biggest thing I can say that I can give advice for as a habitual 2 steps backwards, 1 step forward kind of guy is a lot of it depends on your surroundings and how you surround yourself and what you surround yourself with. Mm-hmm. You're not going to want to do better if you're around the same things that are keeping you down all the time, or you're pursuing the same things. What's up, Shane Beekman, you beautiful SOB? Good to see you. It really does take an effect of like your environment. I understand, like, like if you're in a bad place, it sucks and you're there all the time and it's hard to work out of it. But the fact that you push yourself towards doing better and being better, it helps out a lot, because then you start to see the faults and the flaws that are around you. You start to see the cracks that you fall into, and you start to step over them, in a proverbial sense. You know what I mean? I'm probably not using that word right. I say a lot of big words I don't know. But like, in the sense of like, you start to learn how to sidestep the issues that come hit you, the things that knock you on your ass. You learn how to step around them. And it takes a lot of time to get to a comfortable place to know that what you're doing is the right way, because when you're surrounded by people or things that aren't keeping you the right way, you're going to feel foreign. You're going to feel like you're doing something wrong. Birds in a cage think that flying is a disease because they're stuck in that cage. They sit on that perch all day and they see birds flying around outside, and to them, that's fucking weird. That's crazy. Like, why would you do that? You sit here, you chirp, you eat your bird seed, and you have a good life. But what else is out there waiting for you? You know what I mean? When you try something new or you break the bounds. And a lot of it is having to deal with the uncomfortability of doing something else. Do something else. Make a change. If you're already like doing things that are keeping you down or fucking you up, guess what? You do something else to keep you back, that it doesn't work out the right way. You're in the same spot that you started, but now that's not the right way, and you can go the next, take the left fork in the road instead of the right fork in the road.
Yeah, because when you get to the destination as well, it takes work to maintain that. That's probably the hardest part is, the journey getting there, and then in the same vein, actually staying there. It requires just as much work as, climbing that hill to get to that point. And I just don't want people to forget, that situation that it requires maintenance, that's the other thing as well. And I think that's where the discipline part comes in. So, yeah. Yeah.
The only thing I'd want to add to that is just to keep in mind that the only valid judge of your progress or your quality, or however you want to phrase it, is yourself. You're going to be surrounded by people that keep trying to pull you back because you're making changes, and that's scary because they're not making changes and they don't want to make changes, and they want to be comfortable. They want you to stay in that mess with them. Maybe they feel that you're someone they can look down on, so that's fun for them. You need to push that aside and just let them. Sometimes you need to let them fall away because they're holding you down. They're holding you back. You're the only person that can judge your own progress and which is the correct path for you.
Yep. Yeah. And one thing that's always resonated with me, and like that I've seen before, is this video where it was like an interview with the rapper Snoop Dogg, right? And he was talking about you worry about, you start out right here, right? And you're right here with the people that you started out with, or your friends and all that stuff. And you start to do bigger and better things. And you start to move up. And then you start going up and up and up, down. And then you have these people down here that don't want to make a change. They don't want to do something else. And then you're not seeing eye to eye with them, whether it's friends, family, or whatever. And to be on the same page, you have to bring yourself back down to their level. And that's where you really do fail. I understand it's hard to not necessarily, you don't have to just cut people out of your life, but you have to know the difference of how much influence they have on you. If you want to keep rising up, up and up, and keep doing better things, you can't do it with these people that are always constantly pulling you down. You'll get successful and you'll be like, oh man, you changed. You're over here, you're going to work all the time, you're paying your bills. Yeah, but what are you doing? You're sitting at home all day smoking weed, smoking pot, playing video games, doing nothing, or going out partying. And if I want to be on the same page as you, I have to bring myself down to see you at your eye level. That's not how growth works. Growth doesn't go backwards. Growth goes forward. Mm-hmm. And you have to let go of some ties to certain things. You have to let go of certain connections you have with people or surroundings or things like that to do something different. And I know it just is a very basic comparison. You see CEOs of business and stuff like that. These people are obviously successful in the business aspect, right? I'm not saying morally or anything like that, but they say it's lonely at the top. It's not just because you're rich and people can't identify with you. It's because you had a mind state that put you to that point to understand how to function on a higher level beyond being in the same situations all the time. And once you start seeing that difference right there, that's when people start saying you've changed or you're not the same person you are. That's them telling you that you've done something better for yourself. And that's when you don't fucking let go of it.
Unfortunately, it's a really common thing where in order to get ahead, in order to progress in whatever field that is for you, you need to put in time, you need to put in effort. It's not just changes in your life, it's work, it's maintaining it, it's learning things, it's practicing things, it's perfecting the way of thinking about things, not only just doing them. And your friends there may have the same dreams and goals as you, but they're not willing to do that. And so they're jealous. They're sitting there going, well, why are you so successful when I'm not? We both had the same dreams. We both came from the same shithole. Why are you so far ahead? And why aren't you lifting me up? It's like, dude, you're not doing any work.
Yeah.
I gave you an opportunity. You didn't do any work. I'll leave you behind. If you're not willing to work with me, then I can't help you up here. And that becomes, what's the word? A grain of salt, a grain of sand. It becomes an irritant between people in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, let's. We're heading into existential stuff. Let's cap it, fellas, before we continue on. Did you say you wanted to do something?
So, it's the first of the month. Lisa came through. Shout out to our Patreons, Baby Keto Daddy, T Getz, and Ian Thomas. They keep our channel alive for giveaways and shipping and stuff like this. And so, we can't really ship vape stuff as easily as we can before. But tonight, I know that you guys in Australia are going in the cold weather. We're going in the hot weather here in the States. I was thinking about a hoodie, but no, that might hit the wrong person. An Anarchist snapback. We have new colors that came in. We have new designs and stuff like that. So go ahead, start typing X1s in the chat, and you'll win. Like, whoever wins will get an Anarchist snapback. And I'll make sure it's one of the newer ones that hasn't been released before.
Nice, man. Nice.
Fucking Legion. To be fair, though, I have sent you a shit ton of stuff, and I only sent Legion one thing once when he did the YouTube live on the local channel with me. So, maybe, what, Legion, you're in the running for this, I guess.
That's my reward, to be in the running. I feel special.
Yep. Nice. Maybe while people are doing that, tell us the stuff is coming up this week, fellas. Anyone? Legion?
I have a live stream tomorrow morning. We'll be having coffee and hanging out, talking about whatever. We have the Aussie Vape Show on Sunday, which is the same old thing. No guest this week. It is the 51st episode of the Aussie Vape Show. So it'll just be the three of us hanging out. But on the 52nd, which is the week after, we will be having the mighty Bogan joining us. Other than that, I have reviews to do. I haven't done them yet, as always. We hit Tuesday, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm way behind. I need to film some stuff. Crap. They'll get done. They're all here ready to go. In fact, I think the rest of today we'll be working on some of that. That's literally it. That's what I got. Oh, wait. No. I am really bad at this. I'm really bad at being a good YouTuber. There is a live stream on Saturday for me and the day before for you guys in the States. It's a 24-hour live stream, international. It is for the trucker fundraiser. Thank you, advocate. If you could throw the link to that, because boom, it's all gone out of my head.
You'll have to
24-hour full-on live stream all over the world. Massive giveaways, massive auctions. It's worthy cause. It's always good to see the community come together. I'll be on for a little bit somewhere in there. I'm not quite sure when, but I'll be on.
Yep.
That's it.
Awesome.
That's it. That's all I got to say.
Yeah.
Friday Fallout will be back this week. We were back last week. And since, this vape ban's going on, we're starting to give away random. We're doing random giveaways. Random stuff that I find on Amazon is what we're doing. Like this last Friday, when Tucky Shine won a fanny pack, it got to him today. And so whatever, I go on it. So the plan is now from Friday Fallouts, we won't be doing a giveaway every week, because we're not made out of fucking buku bucks, but we'll be doing some random giveaways. So it could be, a fanny pack. It could be a backpack. It could be a fucking pack of fruit, like fruit punch. I don't fucking know. But we'll be doing random giveaways and stuff like that. But other than that, I'll probably do some gaming on this channel on Sunday. Bring that back a little bit, and then finally finish out the Fallout series on there for the Fallout New Vegas, the playthrough that we're doing. But other than that, next see me here on Monday with Adam and Steve. Yeah.
Nice. I don't know whether it's we don't have many viewers or maybe people are not super excited, but how would you like to continue? Are we telling people to throw their X1s in, or are we gonna?
Yeah, we told everyone to throw X1s in. Also, I want to say this because I've heard it from people before. I come to just enjoy the content. I don't care if you enjoy our content. Win some of the free shit. We're giving it to you because we want you to have it. Don't be overzealous here in the YouTube chat. Treat this like that page that still has fucking giveaways from 2017 on it. You might still win it. Fucking put that shit in there. I don't care who you are. You're gonna get a fucking hat, and you're gonna win a hat. So
Yeah.
Everybody wants me to win the hat. That's why they're not doing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Interesting. Oh, well, there you go. I'm putting an X one in as well. Can I do that? I can't do that.
Yeah, you're not gonna win though.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks. Thanks a lot. Yeah. Awesome. All right.
So that was the Anarchist hat and collab box package, right?
Yeah. See, Gerard doesn't even know what he's X1ing, so that's awesome. Even better. Surprise pack. So we're not actually going to tell you what is going to be in the box that if you happen to win, you don't know. Thankfully, hopefully it's not from Wish, because I've seen some fairly dodgy items on wish.com. That's, very, very, yeah. Awesome. There you go. There's a couple more. Maybe we don't have that many viewers at this time because we're running long. We're running long.
Yeah. Adam,
We
go
are.
ahead. Let's see, Adam. I'll throw these guys in to a mixer real quick. Bleep bleep.
Blip, blip, blip. Blip, 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 blip.
All right, Adam. Choose a number between 1 and 87.
57.
57 is NTRGBSL, not the real Gerard.
A random. Yeah. How about that? Nice work, Lee.
Yay.
Nice.
Good work, man.
Nice work, Lee. Good job. Congratulations to Lee there for a random item that we shouldn't say, so that he can just go, oh, awesome, or not. Yeah.
Yeah,
cool.
so Gerard Butler, I don't know if you follow me on Instagram or not, or the Amigos page. Either one, you could send me your name and address, and I'll get that hat sent out to you tomorrow so you can track it and all that. And congratulations, because you're going to get a brand new Anarchist hat that not a lot of people have.
Yeah. Nice work. Well, that sounded so rigged, but it's not. But
I just realized before we tie it up, some people are probably wondering what the hell the mail deal was. Was not vape mail. Got myself a new Dixon
interesting.
and a matching new Dixon.
We get it. You had Grim Green on your show.
Yeah. I was trying.
That's my kickback.
Just
People
quietly.
have one guest on a show and place his whole personality around it.
I was trying to get us to all have handlebar mustaches, flannels, and hats and glasses, but wouldn't have worked for Steve, so we would have had to.
I
Anyway,
would have had to shave.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I'm not doing that.
that would have been very funny. We want to send out the biggest thank you to all of you in YouTube land for giving us
As always.
your face holes for a bit of time. Very, very grateful that you would spend
I
it
have
with
a
us.
soundbite for this.
Yeah.
Where's that? Where's it at? Where's that? Sorry, I'm trying to go as fast as I can. Where's it at? Where's it at? Where's it at? Sorry, I keep saying that. Where's it at?
We love you. You're very special.
Every single one of you.
Yep. That was 100% worth it. Thank you,
Well prepared there.
Mr. Detective Vandale of the LAPD, and also Legion Vapes of Northern New South Wales, and also all of you at home. Big love. Have an amazing week. We will see you next week. We're sure you'll see you on the cyberwebs. Cringy. That's right. Thank you, Mowgli. Cringy AF. Absolutely. Big love, everyone. We'll see you next week. We will see you next week. Yeah.
Put that cookie down.
Down. The chopper.